However, after LEC, right after playoffs, we will be going into MSI, and that scares me because Korean teams look,
as a G2 fan that scares you, or as an EU fan that scares you?
dude, like if it scares a G2 fan, then all of EU should be shaking.
No,
or
you know
shitting
what?
their
I
pants.
have to disagree. Like, I have to disagree. As a Mad Lions fan, I'm scared, right? But as an EU fan, I'm excited because Rogue, in my eyes, I think they can. They're the kind of team that I feel like can perform on the world stage. All right, we've started. We got episode 1 running. Are you excited to be here again?
I'm excited, man. Last time it went really well and really quickly. So
It's actually 20 minutes past the recording start time. I'm not sure what that means, but
oh no.
well, one of us was late. That's okay. That's okay. Anyway, welcome everybody to episode 1.
Welcome.
We obviously had episode 0 last time. That was a bit of like an introduction, like a taster. And this is the main
chill,
course.
really.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
this is the main course, man.
It's gonna be
When
nice.
do we get dessert?
Well, dessert will be in a couple of years. When we're done with the show, we'll have one final show. It'll be great. It'll be great.
Big brain.
Very big brain. Exactly. yeah. So, Nato, what have you been up to this week?
Not much really. Here in the Netherlands, it's right now. It's election week, so that's pretty much what everyone is talking about here.
Okay.
So I've been tuning in a little bit, but I already knew what I was going to vote anyway. So other than that, like upgrading my setup, got a new monitor.
Oh,
which
cool.
is pretty cool.
Did you remember to change the frequency? Did you remember to do that?
Say no. I forgot about that, to change the frequency. So that meant that my 144 hertz monitor was only playing 60 hertz.
Okay.
Which,
okay.
like guys,
It's not too genius, is it? It's not too genius.
it's not too genius, man. But like, I totally forgot about it. I was just so hyped for my new monitor. I was like, why is it not looking that clean?
Were you trying to convince yourself? You were like, oh yeah, it is totally worth it. And then your mom comes in and she's like, that looks like the same refresh rate as your other one. And you go,
Yeah.
no, trust me, it's better. And then you realize you actually haven't turned up the
It was not even my mother. It was my 4-year-old nephew that said it. And he was like, dude, 60 hertz monitor?
This is rubbish.
It's rubbish, man.
Nice one. So you had an enjoyable week. Did you play any league? Did you play a little league?
Yeah, man, I played League yesterday on stream. And,
Oh,
it went
how did
pretty
that
well.
how did that go, by the way? Because I wasn't able to catch that. Tell me the story of the stream.
Well, I was really nervous playing ranked on stream because usually I just do ARAM and I kind of just chill and end,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
having fun with that.
Yeah.
And not caring too much about the game. But now I was like, oh, I need to perform. I was actually getting flamed, like my brother was like, no, why are you not using smite in your fights? And I was like, dude, chill.
Did you get flamed by chat, or did you get flamed by people in your team?
Both, I guess. Like
Both.
in the first, like, I played 5 games.
Yeah.
I won 4. I lost 1. So
Okay,
it's pretty good, right?
Yeah. That's good.
In 3 games, 4 if you consider loss as well, I was like not doing well. I was not inting necessarily, but like I couldn't do anything on the map. But like, at the same time,
you were kind of useless.
yeah. But at the same time, like last time I played, jungle was still good. Like this is after the patch where they nerfed jungle XP.
Yeah.
So now it's a little bit harder because I play carry jungler, so like it was a little bit harder to get started and like start one-shotting people. But
Yeah, were you mainly playing Evelyn?
I was mainly playing Evelyn. I played 1 game of Shyvana, which went,
Was that AP
Felt
or AD
useless.
Shyvana?
I always play AP, man. I gotta one-shot people, dude. Like,
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, dude, I'm excited because there's obviously been a new patch. We'll talk about that later.
yeah.
If I'm talking about my week, right, this is what I've been doing. I've been playing a lot of League, right? I've been playing some ARAMs with the buddies. Every now and again, I'll just invite people to my friends list and be like, "Hey, do you want to play a game?" And they just join, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Apart from that, I've been delving into some of my stats. Okay, I've been delving into some of my stats, and if you go on u.gg, you can actually see how much LP you gain, and like you can see the graph of like when you go up and down in ranked, right? And
Yeah.
it's really interesting because every time there's like a dip, you can see what champion you're playing. And for me, it's always like I'll go up playing Nautilus. I'm 11-1 on Nautilus, by the way, in solo queue, which is kind of crazy, right? Like that's a quite high win rate.
Yeah,
And
it is.
I'm checking out this graph, right? And it's like goes up, goes up, goes up, Pantheon, Nautilus support, and then it will go down. And it'll be like I'm playing like Teemo top or something. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Classic
So
ending.
yeah, but it just shows like, hey, stick to what you know, and you might actually climb a bit more, and then not have those setbacks. You know, it might be boring, but try and stick to what you know. You know.
I think that is literally like the most common tip of playing solo queue. Just stick to what you know and what you like. There's no need to like once play mid lane, then go to bot lane, then go to top lane, and then like have like a champion pool of like 20 champions that you're like, oh, now I want to play this. Like if you really want to climb in solo queue, it's not the way. Just play what you like and stick to it, but have fun doing it. Like, don't play a role that you think is like, oh, this is so boring. Like, it makes no sense.
That's the thing about me, man. Like, I feel like I do have like a main champion pool. Like, you can see it above me right now, right? It's like Leona, Pantheon, Lulu. You know, like I almost play all supports basically. I can play all supports for like a decent level as well. But the main problem I have is I'll be like, hey, you know what? Like one day I'll wake up and I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna be a Xin Zhao main, and then I'll play 20 games of Xin Zhao, and then I'll be like, nice, bit trash, man. Actually, I don't like any of the Xin Zhao skins, right? So I'm not gonna play Xin Zhao, and then I'll play Anivia for 20 games, and then I'll play someone else for 20 games, and it will just be like, I'm so hot and cold on the champions. I'll be like, I'll main them, and then I'm not maining them anymore because of like a certain reason.
Yeah. I can definitely see that, but like usually when I do that, like sometimes I want to play this champion. I usually first go into normals and see how it goes for me, you know.
Yeah, I
Because
don't
that
do that.
usually
I don't
tells
do
me
that.
how good I am, right, with the champion. Because there's no reason for me to like, oh my god, my voice cracked. Did you hear that? No, you didn't.
I didn't.
No,
Nobody heard
nobody
that.
heard that. Nobody heard that.
Nobody heard that.
But like going into like a game, like if I were to play Xin Zhao, like that would go so bad for me. Like I would like probably be like 0-5 in the first 8 minutes of the game, just not knowing what the hell I'm doing. So I would probably die to like jungle minions.
Nato, what team do you actually support when it comes to LEC?
Well, I think it comes to a shocker, but I love G2. I'm a G2 simp.
See, for the people who can't see, Nato today, he's not wearing his G2 shirt.
I'm not. I'm neutral for this episode only.
However, I'm wearing my Mad Lions Kappa merch, okay? And do you know why that is? Do you know why that is?
Well, you know, like we decided to have fun in our game against Mad Lions, you know.
yeah. To be fair, you guys, for the people who don't know, Mad Lions played against G2. So my team I support played against NATO's team. G2 picked two very surprising picks. One of them was Rek'Sai jungle, and the other one was Veigar support.
Nothing wrong with that.
And how did it go? Who won the game, NATO? Who won the game?
I don't even know. I think it was just like made a few mistakes, like G2. You know, like they kind of did a few questionable things. But...
So you weren't like actively watching this game, were you? Like did you watch the game?
Like,
what were you doing?
Yeah,
what were you doing on that day?
What I was doing, I was looking how about my boy Mickey X, like on his Veigar, like inted the hell out of the game. And then Jankos decided to screw over his top lane by invading the enemy jungle and totally ignoring the control while I was in the bush.
To be fair, Armu did escape quite early with like 1 HP, which is kind of hilarious. But then again, we love Armu. We love Armu.
But like, I think the game was like really quickly lost for G2. Now, after a certain mark, it was already so doomed.
Do you think that was more mental, or do you think that was like just like completely outskilled by the Mad Lions?
Literally just like outdrafted. Like come on, man. Like outdrafted and outplayed, because like sure, like they picked like questionable champions, but you can't just put it on that, because that would like take away all the credit from Mad Lions.
Yeah.
I don't think that's correct, because I still think G2 made misplays, even though some of their champions were, you know, not meta and not even close to meta. Because like Mickey, like you probably don't know, but he played Veigar support on stream the day before they played Mad Lions.
Oh really? Because
Yeah,
I
you
was
did.
watching Reckless's stream around like 2 weeks ago, and obviously this game was the last weekend, and he was playing as
Yeah.
a lot of Zaya, and he's been playing that quite often in LCS as well. Obviously, it's become a bit of a pick for all AD carries, but it's interesting because
It's
he was
coming
saying on
back in the
stream,
meta, yeah.
yeah, he was saying on stream like, yeah, this is going to be a great pick. Like I really have to practice this, and today I'm just going to be playing Zaya, and that's about all I saw really because I wasn't really watching for long
Yeah.
that much time.
Yeah, I can understand that. I really hope Zaya stays in the meta. I
Mhm.
don't know why, but I find it a really enjoyable AD carry to watch in pro play.
Yeah, and she
I
has some
really
nice
like
skins as
the
well.
2019 meta where it was like pretty much one team picks Kai'Sa, the other team picks Zaya, and then Zaya Rakan versus like a Nautilus Kai'Sa. I really like that meta. I think it was really fun to watch the bot lane. It was more volatile. Um, Recently, I found that bot lane is kind of just chilling, farming.
One thing I hate about bot lane is when the bot lane has so many escapes. So let's say like just underneath you right now, for example, the champions underneath your overlay are Thresh and Ezreal, and I'm thinking that's just it sounds like a horrible lane. Like it's so hard to like engage onto something like that because there's so many escapes and there's so much escape built in.
True.
And
Yeah.
I feel like it really dampens me as like an aggressive player. But then again, my playstyle has recently like just gone to like only I literally only roam. I try and like play really aggressive in lane to get my AD carry like an early like free farm, and then I'll
Yeah.
leave for like the rest of the
Yeah.
game.
Our support is like, you're not only your AD carry support, you're the support for the team.
Yeah,
Getting
yeah.
vision in the river is really important for you as well, also for your jungler, right? Because then your jungler can kind of know what the other enemy jungler is up to or where he might be on the map.
Mhm.
And getting your mid lane ahead by ganking because like your AD carry is playing safe in the bot lane, and you set them up for that it just extends your gold lead
But it's
by
not just
just
ganks, right? It's not just ganks. You obviously you have like freezes in the top lane. Like you don't know
yeah
the amount of times I've played top lane and I've messed up a minion wave and now I'm sitting there for like the next 5 minutes waiting for something to come in. It's just horrible. You know what I mean? Like I'll be waiting
yeah
I'll be waiting there for minutes on end. My jungler's like doing Gromp or something. He could come up, push out the wave. I can go back, get an item, and then we'd be sorted. The lane would be like refreshed or whatever you call it.
yeah. The lane would be honky dory.
Honky dory, exactly. I mean, that does sound a bit sus, but like, I guess we'll take it.
We'll
All right,
take it.
yo, and talking about esports, right? Are you
Yeah.
hyped for the EU? I say EU LCS is because I'm an old dog. Are you hyped for the LEC playoffs? Are you hyped for it?
Well, obviously I'm hyped. Like, how can I not? Like, I'm just waiting for Rogue and G2 to meet up in the finals. I'm
Mhm.
thinking that will be the finals. So I'm predicting that. Um, to just like get me a best of five of those two teams because Rogue and G2 both this play like were absolutely incredible. Really, like Rogue also showed some really good uh games. Like they were absolutely dominant.
Mhm.
Like you can't say that Fnatic right now is in top three. You can't say that. That because that's
No, you
just
can't. You
not
can't.
true.
They're
They just are not performing yet to the level that we expect Fnatic to perform.
Mhm.
That is probably because they got a new coach, they got a new AD carry. So I think that Fnatic still needs to find their form. But on the other hand, like Cheetah and Rogue look dominant. But
I
however, after LEC, right after playoffs, we will be going into MSI, and that scares me. Because Korean teams look
as a G2 fan that scares you, or as an EU fan that scares you?
dude. Like if it scares a G2 fan, then all of EU should be shaking
No,
or
you know
shitting
what?
their
I
pants.
have to disagree. Like, I have to disagree. As a Mad Lions fan, I'm scared, right? But as an EU fan, I'm excited because Rogue, in my eyes, I think they're the kind of team that I feel like can perform on the world stage. Oduamne, I think has he been to Worlds before?
Yeah,
Maybe he went to
yes.
H2K. I'm not actually sure. I would have to check that. But
I'm
like,
pretty sure he has been to Worlds.
I'd be pretty hyped for Rogue at MSI. Like,
Well, I'm
last
hyped
year
for
we didn't have an
G2.
MSI, right?
True.
Okay,
True.
Nato, if you had a second team in the league that you supported, who would it be? Like, who's your second favorite team?
And the LEC.
Yeah, and I know it's like, oh, dude, I only support G2. That's fine, right?
No, no,
But
no, no,
like,
no.
you have like a soft spot for a team, you know? Who would it be?
Well, that's what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking about it. Um,
It could be
Right
based off
now,
players. It could be based off like just like their performance. You like their play style. Maybe their plays are funny. It could be
I know.
anything.
Like right now, it will probably be Rogue.
I see.
Like
I agree. That's the
I
thing.
love
I agree.
Odo. I love Odo like back when he was in Schalke as well.
Man,
I
he's
just
good
think
looking. He's good looking now, isn't he? Like
he is
the
handsome. He's
blonde hair.
fucking
It's amazing.
sexy.
It's amazing.
I would go gay for that. No, just cup of pride. No, I wouldn't. But yeah, I think I think Odo one name, and then also Inspire. Inspire this year as
Yo, he's
jungler has looked
fantastic, man. He's
incredible. Dude. He's
fantastic.
looked
Yeah.
so good, dude. So I'm really excited to see like top and jungle perform in.
Do you think G2 could pick up Inspired pretty soon?
For Yankees retiring.
Retiring
Well,
/
like-
going to NA.
Going to NA to retire. He's gonna like probably join Cloud9.
Clown?
With,
Did you say
his buddy
Clown
Birds.
9? Did you say that?
Cloud9.
Cloud or Clown? I've never heard
Cloud9, dude.
Clown 9. Anyway, I've got the playoff bracket in front of me here. Do you want me to read out to you and for the for the listeners so they can have like a little understanding? Okay, so we have the winners bracket, right, which is the top side of the bracket. That's going to be G2 versus Schalke, okay? I don't know if they pick the teams, but this is what's on the Wikipedia, right? On the LOL game Wikipedia. Yeah. Then it's going to be Rogue versus Mad. So the winner of that plays against each other, okay? And then in the losers bracket, which is single elimination. So if you lose this, you're out completely, right? No second chances. Yeah. It's going to be SK against Fnatic. What do you think? Based off those first 3 games, who do you think is going to win? Series, sorry, it's not games, it's series, isn't it?
So Schalke with G2, obviously.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure about that.
I actually agree, yeah.
SK Fnatic, I think that's actually quite interesting because I think SK has been playing recently actually quite really good. Like especially the top laner as well. He's been really stable.
What's the top lane called again?
Janax.
Janax, yeah, exactly. Oh, I can actually have a look here. There you go. I can now see all the names.
Yeah, you can see them. Dude.
Nice.
You can see them. See, I think Janax has been performing really well. Like he's like really like the core of SK. I think like in almost every game, he's the one that kind of holds the team together. It feels like, by just keeping the team longer in the game so that the rest of his team can scale up. I'm really excited to see how that will go against Fnatic though, because Fnatic is like really volatile, and they probably like jump instantly on you like when the game starts. Like they, so I'm really excited to see they go in the best of 5. But then just purely because Fnatic has more experience with best of 5s, then I would have to argue that Fnatic would win. But I'm not counting out that SK could upset Fnatic.
Yeah, you just have to look at Bwipo, right? Like you talk about a guy being strong in the top lane, right? You talk about Janax being there and being that rock in the top lane. But when you're fighting against one of the best top laners in the whole of, I don't want to say the world, right? Because he could be, right. He's a world's player. He's a world's player. He's world class. When you're fighting against a world class player like Bwipo or Bwipo, right? As I like to say sometimes, Bwipo.
It's Bwipo.
It might be Bwipo. I know it's Bwipo, but I like saying Bwipo. Anyway. When you're fighting against someone of that caliber, man, he can like pick out a gangplank. He can pick out. What did he play the other day? Did he play Yone top against G2?
Yone, like G2, but he got stomped.
Anyway, but he has those pocket picks. You know what I mean? And he was playing Nocturne top last game. Like you can't predict this guy. He's actually unpredictable, right?
So Bwipo does have a champion Ocean. He doesn't have a pulley as an Ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, I think Janax has shown a lot of respect to his opponents, and I think he can. I think Bwipo would like to like engage on Janax, right? Like quite early. I think Bwipo would love to smash him in a 1v1.
Yeah.
But I right now have a feeling that Janax can not let that get out of hand. I don't think Bwipo will really get an upper hand against Janax. I think Janax will just stay calm and just wait for him to skill up depending on the champion he picks. Obviously.
So you think it's gonna be a Bwipo playing an aggressive champion like a Riven maybe, and then Janax is going to be picking Sion every single game and just being like, "Hey, come at me, bro!
No,
Like
no, but
I'm just going to
like,
stand at the tower. You can't get me."
no, I don't. No, it's really hard to say. But like, I think
Because that's what I think is going to
Janix,
happen. That's what I think is going to happen.
I think it will really be like for if SK wants to win versus Fnatic, it's gonna really be about Janix holding his own against Bippo.
Mm-hmm.
And if Bippo doesn't shut Janix down, I think SK has a very good way to going into the mid game, where they can probably upset Fnatic.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Fnatic is sometimes too over aggressive,
Mhm.
and like they're all very skillful players, obviously, right? So like they have a lot of self confidence, but sometimes it's just not correct to fight. And he who does not know when to fight and when to fight will always lose.
You say that, right? But people have like recently been saying about Fnatic, they're not only taking the bad fights, they're just like messing them up as well, like skill wise. You know what I mean? So they're not in a good state. This isn't the Fnatic that where we're like, hey, they're battling G2 for first spot. These guys are in the losers bracket. They're not on fire.
Yeah.
They don't have caps
true.
anymore. They don't have Reckless anymore. Upset's been decent, right? I mean, the caster
True.
even managed to call Upset Reckless, which I found hilarious. But
Yeah, that was like
I thought that was
I was
quite
like, ouch.
It's a bit awkward. It was a bit awkward.
That was a little bit awkward. Yeah, I think if you were upset and you heard that, I think you would be like,
Yeah, you'd be like,
yeah.
come on, man, I'm working so hard here, and you still call me
yeah,
reckless.
I'm working
dude.
my ass off, and you're
Yeah.
calling me reckless. Dude.
Yeah. All right, so we're saying G2 beat Schalke, Rogue beat Mad, and then Fnatic beat SK.
Yeah, Fnatic will beat SK. Yeah.
Okay. We'll come back to that when the next games happen, and we can go through it again.
Yeah.
Have our predictions. See how we can even have a look and see our percentages. That would be quite interesting.
That would be pretty interesting. Yeah.
So NATO. There's been a new patch. It actually comes out today.
True. Yeah.
Which is super exciting.
Yeah.
It's 11.6. So if you wanna open the link I sent you, we can read through it together if you want. It's obviously the Battle Academia patch as well, isn't it? I'm not sure if there's gonna be what is it called? Like a it's not like a bundle, right? It's like an event. You know, an event where you get to have a look at all the things.
Like
you get to collect the stuff. Yeah, battle passes. I'm not sure if it's gonna be that. Is it gonna be that? I haven't seen anything in the client yet.
I don't think there is battle pass. No.
Okay, I was kind of hoping for it because I really want to get the Leona skin that's coming out. There's going to be a prestige Leona skin. Let's have a look at the skins that are coming out. And for now, I'll rattle through them real quick. We have the Battle Academia Caitlyn skin. It looks very nice hair as well. Then we've got Garen and Wukong Battle Academia. Wukong looks a bit weird. Garen looks very cool. Wukong, he looks very human. Like if you haven't seen it, I recommend you look it up. He looks very human.
And like Wukong is, he's like monkey. Like, and now he is not
human monkey. Yeah.
It's like, he's somewhere in between right now.
Yeah. It looks cool. I would like to see what it looks like in a game. I haven't checked yet. I'm sure it looks amazing. Like the Riot team always does really well with skins. Then we got Battle Academia Yone with very long, what is that? Pink hair? Like pink reddish hair? Very cool. Then we got Battle Academia Leona and a Battle Academia Prestige Leona skin, which I'm looking forward to get, which is basically just the normal one, but completely gold with blonde hair.
The gold one looks really sick. It looks very nice.
All right. Back to the changes, right? So we have the champion changes. There's going to be a buff to Akali, right? They've decreased her health from 575 to 500. But instead, they've increased her HP per level to 105 instead of 95. So basically, early in the game, she's going to have less HP, which is going to be problematic for like these really early fights. But later in the game, she'll have more HP.
True. Yeah.
They basically skewed her into the late game, right?
Yeah.
Then we have the P Energy Restore removed. To be honest, I hope you know how to play Akali because I don't know how to play Akali. I didn't know she had Energy Restore on her.
Neither do I.
On her Q. Neither do you? Okay.
Wow. Neither do I.
To be honest, there are quite a lot of Akali changes. I recommend if you do play Akali, you just have a look at the patch notes. Like, I could rattle through these, but I would just be reading them out loud. And I think I can't really say much about Akali. Basically, she's had like a slight buff, and her HP is going to be lower and higher in the late game. Her W has increased max energy by 80. I don't even know what that means. Like, I'm not a Akali player. I don't even know what also increases max energy by 80 means. Is that an Akali thing?
Wait, what were you saying? I was reading.
You're reading
something.
as well. Okay. Well, we'll skip over Akali. Akali's too confusing for me, right?
Yeah, okay.
So we'll head over to
Akali.
Gnar. Gnar's getting a nerf, okay? The bonus damage is decreased from basically his W, or I believe it's his passive. So every time he attacks, Gnar gets like a little stack on you, right? And you can proc it by either having the boomerang and auto attack, or you jump on him, right? That's going to be decreased by 10 on each rank.
Yeah. Like important to note though is that the Gnar nerfs are mostly meant for people in pro play or in diamond.
Yeah, but it will affect everyone, obviously, right? Like,
it will affect everyone, but some people won't really notice anything wrong with Gnar.
I feel like people don't really play Gnar and solo queue that much anyway. Like in my opinion, in my games, I don't have the stats here, but like I don't often see him in solo.
And if you already have Gnar in your game, it's probably like a Gnar one trick who completely like Gnar nada in all chat, and you will get like really annoyed by it.
Exactly. So next one we have a Hecarim nerf, right? So the Q damage is decreased by 10 basically in the later ranks. Sorry, it's decreased by 20 in the later ranks as well. And interestingly enough, this is actually the base damage. So the scaling is untouched. The scaling will stay the same. The good thing about this is people are now playing tank Hecarim in pro play and in high yellow and stuff like that, right? They're playing with Chem Tank.
Chem Tank, yeah.
So this is basically going to nerf the tanky version of Hecarim as well as the normal version of Hecarim, but mostly the tanky version because it's obviously going for base damage.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'll be interested in how much this impacts the Hecarim priority we have been seeing. Because Hecarim is kind of like a big priority champion right now. If you haven't already abused him in solo queue, then you should.
Yeah, he's been played like in every single game this week as well.
Banned. Either played or banned.
Exactly. It's crazy. It's kind of crazy. All right, next one we got is Karthus. He's getting a nerf. His Q damage is decreased in the later stages, it looks like. So it's still going to be 45 in the early game, and then it ends up being 115 instead of 125.
Yep.
Okay, we got a LeBlanc buff.
Do
you want to read that one?
Yeah, sure. W mana cost decreased to 60, 100 from 60 to originally 120. So that's kind of big.
So later in the game, you're going to be able to spam it.
Yeah.
Do you ever have mana problems when you play LeBlanc?
I usually don't play LeBlanc, but I know someone who spams LeBlanc, and he was really exciting when he read the patch notes. He was like, oh, LeBlanc, she's going to get buff. Now she's viable in solo queue. Guess what, guys? LeBlanc is still shit.
No, that's the thing, right? That we're going to have some more item changes later on, and
true.
LeBlanc is going to benefit from that as well. So we'll come back to that when we come back to it.
Sure.
So Lilia, the only unnerfed champion in League of Legends, or unbuffed unnerfed champion, the only unchanged champion in League of Legends history, she's being changed. She's getting a nerf. Her arc cooldown is increased from 150 to 110. Sorry, to 150 to 110 from 130 to 90. So basically, the cooldown's getting longer at every stage of the game.
Yeah. I think that is completely okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lilia was too strong on how she was. I think in team fights, she her ults can mean such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much if your team doesn't have QSS or whatever to stop that from coming in, your team is gonna get aced.
The range on it is insane as well, isn't it?
That as well, yeah. You can throw your E out, and if the enemy are closer together, they're pretty much all gonna get that passive on them, and then you just press R button, and then your team swipes in and just cleans up with a fucking broom, and then the whole enemy team is dead, and then Lilia will go back to base, get a few items from all those fresh kills, and then bam.
She does it again. She'll do it again. Yeah.
She'll do it again.
The thing you have to remember as well is Lucidity Boots give you 20 ability haste now, and then you would also probably buy the item that gives you 40 ability haste. That's already 60 ability haste on Lilia, in 2 items. Yeah. And then you have to remember ability haste would scale depending on how long your cooldown is, because you get more time off.
Yeah.
So it was never really 90. It would be more like a minute. You know what I mean? Because you would have that automatic ability ace built into your like item build.
Yeah, true.
All right, next we have a pike buff. Okay,
Pike.
your E cooldown is decreased from 15, and now it goes 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. So basically, it now scales downwards the more you rank it up.
Yeah.
Then
I
we
don't think that means a lot for Pike.
You don't
Like,
think
sure,
so?
it will help him out a little bit. We'll give him a little bit more mobility, but other than that, I think it's like I think Pike is still in a really bad spot for picking, especially in the higher ranks. I think in low elo you can kind of still play him and get away with it.
Yeah.
But don't try this in any high elo because you're just gonna get smacked by the enemy support.
Okay. Renekton's getting a nerf. The bonus health is decreased from 250 to 550, from 220 750. So basically he's getting 200 health less later in the game. But the interesting thing here is it's later in the game. Obviously Renekton's early game champion. He's gonna be bullying you early in lane. This does not affect that at all, right? He's still gonna have that extra health in the early game. But it's from 11 from 16.
Yeah, but this might give him a little less priority in pro play.
You think
because
so?
in pro play, yeah, because like later on, like usually in pro games, like they still go on 30, 35 minutes. And sure, Wellington might be ahead, but he might not be. But he still
might be ahead, but he might not be.
Yeah, but like he still provides that threat to your own AD carry. Like, if he gets on your AD carry is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why pro teams really picked him, right? Like first, like he can get priority in top lane in the early game, and after that, like if he gets onto any squishy member of the enemy team, they're dead.
Yeah, true.
And it's really hard to shake him off. So that health reduction might actually be enough to like that he will actually be shite. Because like, what he's gonna do in that team fight?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's still gonna be fine.
200 health, dude. It's it matters.
Yeah.
It's a big shock.
All right, you ready for the next one? It's going to be a Silas buff. The attack speed on his passive is increased to 125% from 80%. So that's what, like a 45% increase. So that's obviously going to be decent. That's big. The W cooldown is decreased. So it's going to be 1 second less later in the game. Yep. The cost change on the W is now it's now cheaper at each rank by 10 mana. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like you might now actually see Silas be like getting picked more because.
But he's been picked quite a lot in pro play anyway because people are trying to counter the Twisted Fates, trying to counter the Nars. You know, you don't need to have that stacked bar when you're playing against Nar. Like it's pretty OP.
True. Yeah, it is.
All right, next we got an Urgot nerf. The W on hit modifier is decreased from 75% to 50%.
Yeah, Urgot. Who plays Urgot?
See that you say that, but I was watching Freak's video today, right? It's like a 1 hour long patch notes video. I really, really, really recommend people watch that. It's amazing, and like that's the only thing you need to watch when a new patch comes out. Like you don't need to hear us talking about it. Just literally go and search up Freak's videos. He basically said like he thinks every team that doesn't contest this on this patch for the LEC and LCS playoffs, for example, they're trolling. He says Urgot is insanely OP if you rush what is it, Titanic Hydra? What's the item called that has Hydra? You know, the active one. Surely you know which one I mean, right?
That means like he got an indirect buff because of item changes, right?
I think just the way he works. I'm not sure how it works, right? But Freak says the way he works with Titanic Hydra is just so insanely like high damage, and he has like a 70% win rate if you do it that way. That's why people should basically go for him. That's what he's saying.
Well,
and
if someone will be playing him, it probably will be Bwipo.
Bwipo. Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if he doesn't get picked after Freak saying that like so publicly, you know? Like I'd be surprised if nobody picks him. That'd be crazy. All right, next we got a Volibear buff, okay? W heal against wounded monsters increased from 100 to 100 from 50. So basically, you're going to get 100% healing from your W instead of 50% on wounded monsters. So this is once you've W'd them once, right?
That is decent.
And the E damage cap is increased from 750 from 150 to 750. So basically, if you're building AP, you're going to do more damage to monsters. I think you're going to do more damage to monsters in general, depending. So you're going to be doing way more damage to Dragon, for example, because there's so much max HP. You're going to be doing loads of damage.
True. Yeah.
All right, Xin Zhao buff. This is another one of those Akali things where I'm like, I don't actually play much Xin Zhao. I know how his kit works, but there are a lot of changes. Basically, the main ones are his W now has a longer cast time. However, it's quicker the way it comes out, right? The animation's quicker and the range is increased as well, right? And it also gives vision, which is very interesting. This is definitely a buff, right?
True. It is definitely a buff.
And then his E
changes,
his cast range is now 1,100, which is insanely high.
True. That is actually
it's like terrifying. Really, really high. It's really, really high. Terrifying. Like it's scary high. Like you'll see it when you play in games because he's gonna be picked.
He's gonna get picked and he's gonna like jump into the bot lane and you're gonna be like, dude, what the hell? What is he doing here?
Mm-hmm.
We're poor jungle.
Exactly. And basically, Xin Zhao also got a bunch of like AP scalings, which is going to be really fun for people to try out new builds and stuff like that. I love this change. Like, I love the AP scalings. It's going to be great. I don't see anything bad with the AP scalings.
Neither do I. Just
more options, right? More options.
More options.
Yeah.
More ways of playing the game.
Yeah. All right. Then we got some item changes. Do you wanna go through some of the item changes?
Yeah, sure. Blade of the Ruined King, lifesteal, 12% to 10%. Okay. Siphon damage.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the passive. 41 to 120, levels 1 to 18, and then to 40, 150, levels 1 to 18. So let me see. So his damage is going to be more. Yeah, it's going to do more damage this patch.
Later in the game, right?
Later in the game, yeah.
Yeah.
But
because but there's less lifesteal as well. We have to remember that.
Yeah.
So if you're building it for the lifesteal, it's gonna be lower.
Yeah, but like they can just pull another item that gives more lifesteal.
Yeah, you can do that.
I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal, really. That lifesteal decrease. I think you can still get that through a lot of other items. So.
Okay, yeah. Well, they're removing a lot of lifesteal in most of the items, so let's carry on reading. Immortal Shield Bow. The lifesteal is also being changed from 12% to 10%. They've removed the lifeline lifesteal. Immortal Shield Bow no longer grants 15% lifesteal for 8 seconds. Wow, that seems actually really OP. Now I'm reading it. The new lifeline is Immortal Shield Bow now grants 13 to 35 AD when triggered. Is that AD? Is that not supposed to be attack speed?
I don't know.
I thought that was attack speed. Well, we'll find out when we play the game, right?
That's how that works.
The shield is also being increased from 250 to 700 to 300 to 800. Okay. Iron Spike Whip also got changed. The cooldown is now going up to 20 seconds to be in line with Stride Breaker. And the total cost is also being reduced because the cooldown is being increased. So basically, they wanted to make it unified with the item it builds into in terms of cooldown, so they had to reduce the cost as well. Do you want to go for the next one?
Yeah, I was kind of looking up if I was going to say that it's like that.
If it was
okay. I was looking that up.
Okay, I'll read the next one then. We got Leandri's Anguish, which is the burning item, right? So it's been changed, right? Not buff, not nerfed. It's been changed. Remove Tormented Magic Penetration. Leandri's no longer grants 5% magic penetration per second against burning targets. New. Leandri's now grants up to 12% bonus magic damage based on their bonus health. So basically, it's turning more into a tank killer item, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I think Leandri's kind of always has been that item that was really good against tank. So
yeah,
I think this might actually even make it better. Then I don't think this is a nerf. I think it's just a buff really to Leandri's.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Then we've got Luden's Tempest, which is getting a buff. It says buff. We've got a new Echo cooldown. Dealing ability damage to an enemy champion now also reduces Echo cooldown by 0.5%, up to 3 seconds per ability. So basically, once you're using abilities, you're going to reduce the cooldown of Luden's Tempest, which is pretty cool as well. It's just like an extra benefit. So I can imagine... Imagine you hit someone with a Rise, then you hit them with a quick combo, and then you have Luden's proc again, basically. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, that sounds
pretty OP.
Sounds pretty OP. Yeah, I think mages are going to be really strong in this patch.
Yeah, I'm excited to. I'm definitely excited to try some of these items.
Yeah.
Next we got Steric's Gauge, which is going to get a nerf. Bloodlust. After dealing damage or taking damage from an enemy champion, the first stack heals you for 2%. For melee and 1.2% for range of maximum health, decreasing by 50% per stack afterwards for 6 seconds. So basically, you're going to get less healing, I believe.
Yeah, and it says also that they fixed the bug.
Okay.
Fixed the bug, Steric's Gauge, Bloodlust passive will not heal the user for each champion they were in combat with.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Is that a good buff or a bad buff? Sorry, a good bug fix or a bad bug fix?
I think it's a good bug fix.
Nice one.
Obviously, every bug fix is good, man. Like, you don't want people like knowing about bugs and then
but like not necessarily. Like sometimes a bug fix. Sometimes a bug fix will be like, oh, Xin Zhao was doing 20% extra damage by mistake, and that would be a bad bug fix for Xin Zhao players, you know?
Yeah. Okay. No, it's good. It's good.
All right, let's try and rattle through the rest of these. Shirelia's Battle Song got a buff. The cooldown's going from 1.5 minutes to 75 seconds. That's good. Just classic buff.
True.
Stride Breaker is getting a nerf, right? This item is everywhere. It's everywhere. The health is going from 300 to 200, which is it's good. I'm glad they're doing that. It's overused in my opinion. It's everywhere.
That is true.
Okay, Seeker's Arm Guard nerf. Bonus armor per kill is going from 1 to 0.5, and the max armor is going from 30 to 15. So basically, they've halved everything, I feel like. By the way, this was one of the most like OP items in League because it built into one of the strongest items, Zonia's, but it was also like insanely gold efficient and only took a 1 item slot, which was then built into the best item in League. But that's good enough. That's good enough.
What is the best item in League?
Huh?
What's the best item in League?
It's Zonia's Hourglass. It's the most built item in League of Legends.
But is it the best?
It's the most built. Which is surprising. It's really gold efficient. It has amazing like active. Like I'm just saying, what's the most built? It's Zonia's, and that's fact checked by someone else that I'm using now.
That's fact checked by someone. Yeah, that's good, dude.
All right, then we got Sunfire Aegis' buff. The ability haste is going up to 20, which is really nice. The emulate subsequent damage 10% per second, up to 60%. 12 per second up to 72%. I have no idea what that means. Basically, the damage is going up. Great. Awesome.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I'll take that. Rabadon's Death Cap is being reduced by 200 gold. I always thought this item was insanely expensive. Whenever I'm buying this item, I always feel like I'm in the shop like 5 times before I can even get it. It's going from 3,800 to 3,600.
That's so good.
I agree. Verdant Barrier. This is similar to the other item Seeker's Arm Guard, but it's just the AP version. This is the LeBlanc buff I was talking about earlier. It's the magic resist per kills is going to 0.3 instead of 0.5. The match magic resist is going to 9 from 15, so it's obviously enough. And the ability power you get is going from 25 to 20. So you're getting less ability power, less magic resist per minion kill, and overall less max magic resist, which is like the worst thing, right?
Yeah.
Then we got Void Staff, where the ability power is going up, but the combined cost is going to be 400 gold, but now it's going to be 600 gold, exactly. I like that as well. I think I was buying Void Staff all the time. I think it's a good enough.
Well, was it really necessary?
I think so. I think it was really being overbought. Me personally, I was buying it like all the time.
Yeah, but like, come on, like you got to build it when the enemy team is building magic resist. Like,
it's only 200 gold. and you
Well,
get
but
you
like
get
the
extra
death
AP.
cap was also 200 gold.
Yeah, but death cap also cost a whole like 1,000 gold more than this.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
Do you want to go through the rune changes now, if you have it open?
Yeah, sure. Ravenous Hunter. So with Ravenous Hunter, Omnivamp decreased to 0% plus 1.5% per bounty hunter stack from 1% plus 1.7% per bounty hunter stack. So pretty much a nerf to Omnivamp, right?
Yeah,
Direct
so
nerf.
so basically you have 0% at the start of the game, and once you kill one person, you're gonna have 1.5, then you're
Yep.
gonna have 3, and so on, instead of
Yeah,
having 1 plus 1.7. So it's just a classic nerf, isn't it?
yeah, but like I don't think that many champions use Ravenous Hunter. Well, yeah, they do, right? Especially like junglers or like lifesteal champions.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
right.
it was definitely overused. It was definitely overused.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Fleet
next one.
footwork. Heal AP ratio reduced to 20% from 30. Okay.
So basically, this is probably affecting AP champions who like Fleet Footwork,
Yeah.
Cassidon, and stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like, why would you nerf Gasoin though? I don't think he's been played that much. Really.
I don't know. I haven't checked the stats, but I'm sure he has a
I
decent
also
win rate
don't
right now.
think that Fleet footwork is really an overused.
Yeah,
rune.
yeah, but you have to remember, like, some AP champions would get like an insane heal of that. You know what I mean? Like a 30% heal, and then you have
Damage changes to items as well. Yeah, it's probably due to that they're nerfing it. All right, summoner spell changes. That's interesting. Teleport. Teleport now removes respawn home guards.
Mm-hmm.
Teleport. Okay, what? It says it twice.
One of them is home guards, so that's when you TP back later in the game and you get the home guard, and then respawn home guards.
Yeah.
Is once you die, I believe. Wait, what?
Yeah, true.
No, I don't think it's respawn home guards. I think they mean the start of the game home guards. But I don't know why they would have that there. Either way, it removes any movement speed you get while you're in the base. That's what we're trying to say.
Okay. Teleport movement speed changed to 50% from 30, 40, and 50%. So that's pretty much good. That's a buff to teleport.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much when you teleport, you're just going to be instantly like speeding it around,
especially
getting to the Baron.
This is like all game as well. So you'll have the late game teleport speed all game.
Yeah. So you'll be zooming around wherever you need to go to either int or help your team.
I think the biggest change is probably the last one, if you want to read that.
Cooldown changed to 420 to 210 from 420 to 240.
Exactly. So you're going to have more teleport opportunities later in the game. In the early game, if you're getting back to base and you're wasting your TP, you're still going to be wasting your TP. But later in the game, when you're split pushing, you'll have it back 30 seconds earlier, which is what, like a sixth of the... No, it's not a sixth. It's like a 12th of the dragon time or something like that. So, yeah, it's decent.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Smite, base healing increased to 90 from 70. That's decent. Like, decent jungle buff, to be honest.
Give me more healing. Thank you very much.
Then we got the jungle changes. Here we go. Gromp experience increased to 135 to 182.25 from 125 to 168.75. Basically, this is because some people were taking jungle routes, I believe, and they wouldn't be getting level 3, and this is why they're adding the Gromp XP.
Yeah, this is just great. I love it. Like,
Good.
Please give me more XP. get me faster, my levels, so I can, carry the game. Let me one-shot people. I don't want to play Sejuani, guys. What is your problem? Stop
I know.
nerfing people. Put it up high.
I quite like Sejuani. I like Sejuani in my games. It's fun to kite.
No, get it out. Get it out of the game. Like buff carry champions in the jungle. Like mid lane should not be the only.
We just had a carry jungle meta for World last season. You've got to calm down, man.
Get
the junglers back on the tanks. Get the junglers back on the tanks.
No. I think Jankus will love that from GTA, but I don't. Like, I'm playing Evelyn. I want 20 kills. I want to one-shot everyone. Stop nerfing my jungle.
Nice one. So, talking about the nerfs, are there any nerfs or buffs that you're missing in this patch? Something where you're like, what's been really strong and really annoying? Like, that's something I would nerf, or something you've seen, or something you play where you're like, this needs a buff?
I think Pantheon is really strong right now. I really think he is overtuned.
As a
But not as in
Pantheon
like
main, right now, probably I have to disagree.
you would have to disagree.
Please,
I
please
think
don't nerf my champion.
this champion. I think like, I don't think there's necessarily good in pro play or something,
Mhm.
but in low elo, I think Pantheon is so good.
His roaming
Because
is
I
just
don't think
insanely strong,
people-
right? His roaming is insanely strong.
Yeah, but also his kit, man. Like it's so
It's the
much
whole
damage.
thing. It's the whole
Early
thing.
game. It is the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like if you walking into a lane, like he's at level 4, and you're like, "Oh, I'm not scared of you," and he just W's on you, he kills you, and then you're like at like 25% HP, and you're like, "Ah,
Nah,
yeah."
he can be easily punished. Like I played enough Pantheon to see like, hey, if you actually play correctly against him, and you just have to ward
Depends on
really.
the team comp, man. Depends on the team comp. But I still think he's too strong in low elo. I think this guy. I think Pantheon. I don't know. I think it's if a good player is playing him to just get through like I don't know silver or like bronze or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I think it's fucking stupid, dude. It's stupid champion.
Okay.
Like you WQ and then like when they actually start focusing, you just pop that E and you're just gonna slide on out and wait for your team to back you up, you know?
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So yeah, that, in my opinion, that should be nerfed.
So there's someone I'm missing on this list, and I'm pretty sure everyone is like, "Where is this man?" And they've nerfed his item, but they haven't nerfed him. It's the Ruined King, Viego. Where are his nerfs? Right, this man has been taking over every single game he's in for me. 13-2, 27-1. These stats are insane. Please nerf him. I don't care about his win rate. Please just nerf him so I feel better. You can even take off like 1 base HP. I don't care. He just deserves a nerf.
You're a Viego hater.
I'm a big Viego hater.
I can understand that. But luckily he's not getting played that much.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think Viego is also like really strong, but at the same time I think he's like
Kind of trash.
kind of trash. It really depends as well on the enemy team comp. Like if they have like champions with good abilities, yeah, then like Viego can be insanely strong in team fights because he can just kind of just switch them out, you know, like and he's untargetable when he like switches over. Right?
Oh, I
and
know, that's horrible, isn't it? That's horrible.
He also gets health from that. So then like you're trying to kill him, but he's like, no, I killed your teammates and I'm just gonna absorb his like life force or whatever, and he's gonna come after you with your own team's abilities, kill you, then do that same thing again, kill everyone, gets pentakill, says GG easy in all chat, and then just heads out.
Yeah, that does sound very factual. I think that might have been a recording of one of my games, to be fair, because that happens to me all the time.
It's just classic Viego.
All right. Let's head over to the last section. If you have a look in the show notes, I wrote down a couple of combos that you can be using. So people who are listening to this and they're like, you know what, I'm struggling in League. You know, I've got my duo partner. I've got my Nato, right? But I don't know what we can play together. Like we just don't have the synergy. Okay, we don't know what we can try. I've written down 3 combinations that you can try. Okay, which should be fun. And the first one I've written down is going to be Twisted Fate versus Nocturne, and I've named them as well. Okay, I've named them as well, and I've called it the Global Nightmare. What do you think about that one?
I think that like, don't get me wrong, both players need to be incredibly well synergized to pull this off.
Yeah, you want to be in comp. You want to be like in voice chat, for example.
You want to be in comms, yeah, and also it's about both players being on equal level. Like, I mean, like you can't do this with someone like if you're in gold, like don't do this with someone in bronze because it's just gonna go wrong.
Yeah, they're definitely champions where they're not tanky. They're not that easy to play. Maybe Nocturne might be a bit easier.
I think both of these champions have to know. I think these champions need to know on the game state. They need to know where they should.
You need to know macro. Yeah, exactly.
They should know how to macro their lane, especially Twisted Fate, to know when he should like move out of lane to TP somewhere with his ultimate. And I think, yeah, and low elo that's just not gonna work because like they fuck up their waves and then it's gone to shit.
I agree. All right. The second combination I wrote down is Anivia, you know, the ice bird, right? And Poppy. And I wrote down as a comment, create walls and pog people. So basically, You can play some bot lane. You can play some mid lane jungle, for example.
Cool.
Yeah. So basically, what you do is you'll set down a wall behind the mid laner. Poppy comes in, slams them into the wall, and you get like an auto stun. Anivia can then set up her stun, and you know how much damage Anivia does now. It's going to be an easy kill.
That is true. Yet again, people like, please try this out with someone you have great synergy with, because else you'll be flaming each other.
By the way, Nato, these are all like synergistic comps. They're supposed to work well together, so it would make sense if the people could work with. Yeah.
Like, I know, man. Like, still, it's like so easy to fuck up when people are not talking as they should be.
Yeah, it's true.
People are kind of just like, yeah, I'll just throw it out right now. When they come in, like, oh, I'm just gonna walk in here and expect it to work. It's just not gonna work.
All right, the final one I have. Okay, it's gonna be Kindred in the jungle, and then in mid lane you're gonna have Pantheon or Sylas. So what I was thinking, you might be like, hang on, dude, that sounds like a shit combination. Why would you do that? My reasoning here was, you want to have someone in the mid lane who always has the pressure. If you think about Pantheon and Sylas, you're like, yo, if there's a 2v2, this guy's going to back me up, especially if I'm in talks with him, if I'm in comms with him. This guy can like have my back. He can push up the wave fairly decently, Pantheon, Sylas, right? And then he's going to have the damage every single time during like most of the early game and the mid game, right? And then you have Kindred. And the interesting thing about Kindred is she's going to get marks in the enemy jungle. And if their bot lane or top lane doesn't react, you're always going to win a 2v2 if you have a Pantheon and a Sylas in the mid lane, and then you're Kindred, right? I don't see any other champion stronger than like a Pantheon Sylas in the mid lane.
And but you do disagree that Pantheon is OP?
No, I think Pantheon's super OP. I just don't want him to get nerfed, or else I'll end up playing just Nautilus.
Just have to clarify that.
yeah. But what do you think about that one? I wrote down a name: Damage Amplified.
I do think it's really good, right? If you can get Kindred her marks, then she's gonna skill incredibly well into the late game, and she's just gonna be a second AD carry.
Exactly, right?
Also a little bit more utility than normal AD carries do have. So yeah, I think it's really good, but yeah, depending on enemy team comes, I think you should do this like if like both of you have like if you already know most of what the enemy team is picking.
Yeah,
I do think that might be a little bit volatile if you like pick it against. I know like some people are hard CC for Kindred, especially early on. Later on, Kindred can probably survive and engage, but early on, if you like pick it up against like someone like loads of CC, like it's also really dependent on your team, right? Like,
yeah.
Really, like if your lane states are fucked, like the plan is fucked.
Yeah, but that's the case with most games. You know what I mean? Like if you're playing any jungler, if your lane's like in the shit, you'll be in the shit mostly.
But like, my idea about Kindred is that I think it's really like a dice roll jungler.
That's the whole point of the combination, right? So you have your dice roll jungler who maybe gets a mark on the enemy Gromp, but then you have a mid laner who can back him up 100% of the time and have that stun, have the damage, have the roaming ability of Sylas and Pantheon. You know, so it's basically like backing you up.
Yeah, but Sylas doesn't get a lot of pyro early on in most matchups.
Yeah, but he does have the jump in like a 2v2 Sylas. That's like, I'll be very scared of 2v2 Sylas.
That is scary, especially late game, but early on Sylas is not going to get that.
I disagree. I think Sylas is like really strong every single level post level 3.
I think most mage champions can get pyro before Sylas gets strong.
Especially with the new Sylas buff, though, he can just push out the lane. He'll be fine.
We'll have to see how that works, yeah. But yeah. I still think he's not going to get pro in a lot of matches. Okay. And I think the Pantheon is good because Pantheon gets his ult, so he kind of just be anywhere where the fuck he wants to be, right? He's just in lane and he fucks off and in the bush and then ults away. But for Sylas, it might be a little bit harder.
Okay, so what's your favorite out of the 3 recommended? What do you think that people should try?
I think the first one. I think it's also the most easy to execute.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we both have our ultimates. Let's head top.
That's like fix your wave, dude, and then like just head out. Just head out of the lane, and Nocturne's gonna press R, And then Twisted Fate is also going to press out, but Twisted Fate should always do it after Nocturne because then the enemy team doesn't know what's happening. Well, they do because like Twisted Fate's eye will show up.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Sorry, I'm an idiot.
Nah, it's okay, it's okay. I'm used to that one already, Nato. Anyway, I think that's it for today. I think we've had a good podcast, enjoyable. We'll be hopefully back next week, same time. I'll obviously have to edit this up and clip it up, but yeah, we should be good.
Should be good. How long was it?
Did you enjoy it? I don't know. I don't have a timer running. Actually, I was just looking at time, thinking, you know what? It's quite a long time.
Yeah, I think we did an hour-ish.
Yeah, good.
Something like that. So it's good.
All right. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, just let us know in the comments or join our Discord. You have our social medias. Mine are underneath me. Nato on Twitch, Nato on YouTube, Nato on Twitter. And then you've got mine underneath me as well. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully we'll see you next time. If you did enjoy it, let us know. I probably said that already, to be honest. I probably said it already.
With shit, just let us know.
Maybe not that one. Maybe not that one. Save the hate for Nato's stream when he's jungling.
Sure, tune in. I don't care. I'll roast you back.
Peace out, guys. Peace out.